As soon as the electromagnetic waves traveling from the sun, like a powerful plasma cannon shell, hit the Earth's atmosphere, the catastrophe began.
Pandarosh presents
The story collection, The Greys, for the writer Dr Amr Mounir. Storm. It was an unusual day, and no one expected it to be such a catastrophic one. The event was huge, and everyone is affected by it. Almost everything stopped working due to that sudden cosmic shock, and this modern city was transformed into a complete stage of paralysis, which returned it back to the former desert era. The advanced city, Al-Masa, was bustling with movement. Flying cars were moving around everywhere, on paths with specific dimensions and directions between the towering skyscrapers across the sky. I'm proud of the ability of humans to build them in such a dazzling way. Everything is managed by the World Wide Web, which spread everywhere through a series of satellites floating in the atmosphere and designed for that specific city. Highly advanced technology is considered one of the main features targeted when the foundation stone was laid for its establishment in this barren desert area, as this vast country, which is rich in lithium and gas resources, aimed to establish a region to serve as a beacon for it, expressing its position at the top of the ranking of developed countries in terms of growth and prosperity. Everything runs on electricity produced from clean, renewable energy, from wind, wave movement, underground heat, and other environmentally friendly energy sources. Many of the inhabitants of Al-Masa have come from far and wide, from various human societies spread throughout all corners of the earth. Few number of the inhabitants were indigenous people who come from generations that inhabited the vast yellow desert, and their lives were characterized by roughness and primitiveness, while only their children benefited from these newly discovered treasures among its soft sands and lived a life of luxury and prosperity. The solar storm exceeded all scientific forecasts, which tried to reduce its danger to the point that this technological city did not pay attention to it. As soon as the electromagnetic waves traveling from the sun, like a powerful plasma cannon shell, hit the Earth's atmosphere, the catastrophe began. As it could not withstand the resistance of that crushing pulse that dispersed a part of it towards the poles of the earth, while a large amount of it was able to reach the surface of the earth to announce itself in the city of Al-Masa to a very influential degree. Highly developed technology was extinguished in moments like a candle on which a drop of water fell. Flying cars guided by satellites and autopilots became helpless pieces of falling iron. Had it not been for the emergency parachutes being released from their cores automatically with the power outage, hundreds of lives would have been lost. The violent solar wave did not allow the satellites to perform their usual role. It stopped working, ending its continuous supply of the internet to that city and the artificial intelligence programs it carries that control the components of the electronic city. This leading technology disappeared in moments, and everything evaporated behind it, from the electricity to the lighting and the doors, as well as ventilation and holographic communications, all the way to the water raised from the distant depths to the top of skyscrapers. The citizens of Al-Masa went out to the streets in a state of astonishment. Darkness covers everything except the light of the full moon that coincidentally occurred that night. The eyes of the city's residents were full of shock and loss as they became isolated in the city between huge, paralyzed buildings after technological supplies were cut off, as well as electricity, water, and all means of life discontinued indefinitely. They walked along the city streets without a specific direction. Their advanced smartphones died of a stroke and were unable to guide them to the location and the traffic map. Voices rose, especially from young people, complaining about this new situation. No one from the city administration responded, as they were locked inside their offices in a state of complete inability to fix what was happening. In the midst of this large and diverse human gathering of affiliations and nationalities, an old man appeared trying to convey his low voice to the citizens.
Don't worry, it is the full moon and the stars in the sky. Before these large buildings appeared in our country, we lived in the desert, where there was sky, sand, and well water. And it seems that we have finally, thank God, returned to it.
The elderly sheikh's words were interrupted by one of the young men who were nervous about this miserable state of being cut off from the world and civilization. Grandpa, we do not understand what you are saying. How will we walk in the desert by moonlight, according to the positions of the stars in the 21st century? We will never bear that. The young man's words led to a state of shouting and screaming in the human gathering, as they had never been exposed to a situation like this in their entire lives. They grabbed their smartphones, trying to communicate with the outside world through them, like someone trying to wake a statue from its deep slumber. The old men and women left them, led by the elderly sheikh, to leave the dark city, heading to the desert to walk through it, guided by the stars with the illumination of the full moon, to return again to their old lives when they were truly children of that vast desert that embraced their ancestors over time, leaving these young people to wait for the return of the technological supply from the internet, electricity, and artificial intelligence, which took over their lives in a very distinctive way in their city.
See you in other writing by Dr Amr Mounir, narrator Adham RB, sound engineering Tamer Yahya, editing and art direction Mariam Hani, artistic supervision Ali Saeed, international distribution by Sondos Tamer, general supervision Wael Atta, production manager Rasha Yahya, directed by Khalid Mahboob. Best regards with Pandarosh.